No, I don't think so. I'm not worried about it at all. I think that the companies that are getting funded, there's a couple things that are different. One, the expectation from investors is not an IPO. So it's not like you're not screwing with the economy in that it's just private investors, a lot of small angel investments. It's really not going to muck things up the way that, all these bunk IPOs did in 2000. The other is that, we're not talking crazy amounts of money. A lot of small startups that I see funded, 100, 200K to get off the ground. And, if you don't have that kind of exponential growth and you're not seeing crazy traffic, they won't get refunded. They'll just kind of go by the wayside. And that's natural. That's cool. That's just, I don't know what they say, like 1 in every 20 startups survive or something like that. But, that's just the process of creating cool things. And, I thought that at first. I was like, well, there'll be another little bubble and then this will all kind of die off and then we'll go back to, everyone will go back to doing their thing and then there'll be another bubble a few years down the road. But I think the cost of, the barrier to entry to creating a new startup is so low now, and the technologies to create a new site and to launch an idea are there, and there's so many people that understand how to build a web app now. I think that we're never going to get out of this. I think it's always going to be new startups every few months that just kind of hit the market, and hopefully it'll drive innovation. And we'll see new products that are pushing the envelope continue to launch. Without a doubt, there is kind of social networking fatigue. I think that's one of the big hurdles for new startups right now, especially that are in the social space, is that we're in this really weird place where a year ago, if you launched a new startup and you asked someone to recreate their social graph in this new experience, and it was like Bebopo or something, some just site out there, and I probably just named I just probably plugged someone's site, but a user would go and say, okay, I have these friends, I'm going to send out the emails, I'm going to invite them, everyone's going to sign up, and we're going to recreate that social graph. Now we're at the place where people have that fatigue and they're tired of doing it, and they really don't want to do that anymore. And so, but we don't have the technologies in place to make it really possible yet for you to import your graph into these new apps. And obviously Facebook is launching Connect, and Google has their own solution, and MySpace is it's not open social, but they're doing their own little thing as far as saying that this is my graph and this is how I can move it into other sites. Once that happens and it's easy and it's like, here's a new app, okay, yes, Facebook, log in, connect, data moves in, graph defined. I think we're going to see some really cool apps that are made on top of that. There's a couple different startups that have emerged recently. Not everyone's on Facebook, and not everyone wants to be on MySpace, but we still have all these other sites that we participate in. So sites like FriendFeed, and I'm actually a bigger fan of Social Thing, are some really cool startups that are aggregating all of your different types of content that you're doing online, all your different activities across the board, and presenting them in a list for your friends to consume. I think that's a kind of a cool way to accomplish what Facebook and others are doing, but often outside of that. Also, obviously the idea of sending small updates to friends via sites like Twitter, and then sharing small pieces of media with sites like Pounce, I think is a very cool space. To instantly be able to when you see it being used, it's funny because when I travel around, I talk to people about different startups and what they're into, and you get outside of the Bay Area or you get outside of New York and you start talking about Twitter. People don't care. It's like our CEO of Dig. He spends half his time. He lives in Pauling, New York, which is an hour and a half outside of New York in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, he sent out a Twitter the other night that was like, does anyone want to grab some food? Like Jay, and he's in Pauling, like no one's gonna grab some food with him. And so it doesn't make sense in that setting, right? But for when you get inside of kind of like a little bit more into the echo chamber inside of San Francisco, it really is a tool that people use, where you'll say, like, I'm at this bar, I'm right down the street, I'm over here, and like you can essentially move like flocks of people from location to location, like groups of people in real time. It's insane. Like I was out with Gary Vaynerchuk, who does Wine Library TV, a very popular online wine video blog. And we were out at doing some wine tasting at one of these wine bars, and we posted on a Twitter saying, you know, hey, come meet up with us. Let's have some wine. You know, if anybody's in San Francisco. And the bar was empty. The wine bar was empty. It was like a Wednesday night or something like that. And between the two of us, we had, you know, 55,000 people on Twitter that the message went out to. And in about 45 minutes, we had about 150 people show up. And this is just out of nowhere. And it's just that power to instantly be able to say, you know, almost like a flash mob. You're saying, like, this is something that's going on. Everyone get here now. And it just happens. It's pretty cool to see. There's been a lot of discussion about how can we increase transparency in Washington. And that's, you know, all over the place, from budgets to you name it. I haven't really been involved in a lot of that. I know that there's a couple groups that have invited me out to Washington in the past that are solely dedicated to tackling these issues. I'm not sure if you're familiar with any of them, but I can put you in touch with the people that contacted me. But I know that like Joshua Schachter, who's the founder of Delicious, he went to one of these meetings and he was telling me about it. And a few other, I mean, I know that they're trying to recruit all the people that are kind of doing really cool open social things online to come in and give feedback and help kind of shape, you know, what they're building. So let me know, seriously. Like, yeah. I hear there's some big stuff going on right now. I just haven't had anything to do with it. I think that even Bill Gates admitted that Vista was kind of, not a mistake, but it was just released too soon. And it's one of these things where Microsoft really has to step back from an operating system standpoint and say, okay, we've added too much. There's just too much going on. You know, less is more when it comes to just simplicity and ease of use and usability. And what can we rip out of this operating system to make it more lightweight and just a better overall user experience? And, you know, I've been playing with Vista for a while, and I have some friends that are still on it, and every time I get on there, I just think, like, there's too many options here. It's just overwhelming.